Welcome, everybody. It's so nice to see you all again. My name is Sharon Chaden-Burks, and I'm a senior instructional designer at Sinclair Community College, and you're in the Idea Networking session. And we have two new guest speakers who are going to share their expertise. With us today, we have Kevin Wheeler and Mackenzie Day. And I also have a couple special things to share with you after we hear from our guest speakers. So please write down your questions. You will have time to ask guest speakers questions in breakout rooms. You can choose who you go and talk to, and you can move between the rooms too. And without any further ado, I'm going to spotlight Kevin and let him share his story. Okay, Kevin.
Hey everyone. So, my name is Kevin Wheeler. I have been out of the classroom now for 3.5 years about. I transitioned out in April of 2022. Since then, I've become an instructional designer where I found my niche in creating training videos and that part of ID. I really enjoy making videos in Camtasia and stuff like that. And I also run a YouTube channel and where I also post topics about instructional design, general career advice, and transitioning teacher issues. Specifically, I left the classrooms. I'm sure someone's going to ask. I left the classroom for, well, a lot of reasons, but I left mainly because of a poor working environment that I really feel that it was not the greatest uh, long-term career path for me, and I felt that we definitely are worth more than what we're seen as teachers. So I definitely moved forward in that way. And I really took the time to become an ID by upskilling through actually I took a university certificate program with the University of California, Irvine, and then I just started getting hired. After that, I worked with a little company called ASCD, the Association of Supervision and Curriculum Development, where I created actually e-learning for teachers before eventually moving over to a company called Cruise, which was an autonomous vehicle company where I created e-learning for their customer success team, and then eventually ended up in my current role where have been over for a little over a year now, working at Hanger, where I create trainings for clinicians, administrators, and fabrication specialists, working with people who've lost limbs or have diabetic shoe problem and mobility issues. And that's kind of my quick and dirty story.
I actually, when I saw that you were from Hanger, I was like, I have been there. I have not lost a limb, but I get orthotics made there.
Mhm.
They like for the ear shoe inserts.
Yep.
So I'm like, that's really cool that when I saw where you worked, I was like, I know exactly what that is.
Awesome.
It's very exciting. Mackenzie, are you ready?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hi, folks. Happy to be here. I'm Mackenzie Day, an L&D program manager at a remote and global tech company. So going back a few years, I was a social studies teacher for a decade, and I taught in IB international schools in Ecuador, Hong Kong, and the United States. In 2020, I was head of department, being compensated pretty well, excelling in my career, and I'm sure this is a common story. But in the first year of the pandemic, I burned out hard. The bright side is that we were exploring digital classrooms, and I liked the virtual aspect. So I started researching what my next steps could be to focus more on online learning. And that led me to instructional design. At the time, a group called Teaching a Path to Learning and Development, TPLD, was very active, and they had a free self-guided path, which suited me quite well. I'm pretty scrappy and I didn't want to pay a lot of money for a boot camp or academy when I figured I could teach myself how to transition careers and use YouTube videos or library books. So that TPLD website, I think it's since been taken down. But in a nutshell, the three steps were one, research and learn about your new industry, two, tailor your application materials, and three, prepare for interviews. So, how did I land that first job? Because that's the hardest part is just getting one yes and getting your foot in the door. So part of it was luck. The company that hired me, they were looking for something really specific that I just so happened to mention in my resume. It was a financial services firm, and they had over 70,000 hours of instructor-led training that they were looking to transform to asynchronous on-demand learning. And my flagship achievement as a social studies head of department was a major curriculum overhaul. And if I didn't include that one bullet point mentioning the curriculum project, I might not have gotten an interview. Um, oh, give me 1 second. My docking station just shut everything off.
Oh no.
Um, I can't see you all. Give me
I can
one
see
second.
you though.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I have an outline and I don't want to ramble too much. So can you all give me one moment to unplug and plug it back in?
No problem. We'll pause.
Thank you.
While we're waiting for Mackenzie to come back, I dropped into the chat two things, some slides that I made for a presentation. I gave this presentation, did I do? Yeah, I gave this presentation to IDOL Academy with Robin Sargent, and it was called AI Course Development Kickstarters. You're welcome to take a look at those slides. There's also like videos embedded on those slides that demo things. Tonight's agenda, you can click on that, and that also has registration links for upcoming networking sessions, links to the LinkedIn profiles for tonight's guest speakers, and also that TPLD group that she was talking about hasn't been taken down. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been there in a while, but it
Okay.
was, oh, you're
Hi.
back. Good.
I think so.
You're
So
good?
sorry about that. My docking station just turned off. Um, yeah, I think the TPLD website got taken down, but the group is still active on LinkedIn, but that means the self-guided path is gone.
Mm.
Um, okay. So you can all hear and see me okay?
Yep.
Thank you. Um, okay, so I think I left off talking about how I got my first job. Um, and I said part of it was luck that they were looking for something specific that I mentioned in my resume. And then it also helped. I had a portfolio, so I showed that I could use authoring tools like Storyline, and I had done the work to learn terminology and translate my experience so I could talk like an ID in the interviews. So since becoming an ID, I have moved roles twice. So I started as an instructional design specialist at that financial services firm, and that had a hybrid working arrangement. There, I was mostly developing e-learning. I was not involved as much with the consulting and learning design side of things, so that was pretty entry level. After about a year, I moved to a fully remote position at the international software company where I work now. My role started as senior technical instructional designer, and in that role, I worked with product owners to make sure our training was aligned with the product roadmap. So, upcoming client deliveries, I was updating and designing courses to meet those needs. Recently, I moved into an L&D program manager role. So this happened pretty organically because last year I got my PMP, which is the project management cert, and I launched a digital credentialing program. So this new position recognizes that managing the credentialing program takes more time and resources.
Mm.
So that was my professional journey from teaching to the ID field. And I wanted to share a little bit about what this might mean for you all as folks in education considering careers in ID. So I'll just quickly mention, some tips for my opinion, how to break into instructional design, both in normal times and in today's anything but normal job market. So first of all, just quick advice that's broad. It applies to any job market. You have to choose the exact role that you want. This helped me a lot. I used LinkedIn to investigate. I looked at people's profiles and their posts across all sorts of jobs. Narrow your focus down to one specific role, and then you tailor your whole job search to that one role with laser focus. So you can't put out a resume that mentions that you're good at customer success and leadership development and ed tech and e-learning design. So you really want to pick a lane and stay there because your resume will be sitting in a pile with hundreds of other folks. So you need to communicate your experience like you're a perfect fit. This job was made for you. And if you sound wishy-washy between a few different industries, you might not land that first phone screen with the recruiter. And then as I wrap up, three tips for this job market that I thought of that right now, I mean, this job market is not normal. It's pretty terrible. It's a time of layoffs, late retirements, it's a soft economy, unknown impacts of tariffs. So my first tip would be apply to local companies, maybe one you haven't heard of, or local companies that have in-person or hybrid components. Those are probably less competitive than those big national names that you've heard of. Um, Two would be consider trainer or facilitator roles as a way to get your foot in the door. These take a lot less upskilling, and you can easily make that connection between your teaching and delivering live instruction. There are also support and coordinator roles on training teams that could be a good match. And then when you have some corporate experience, it's going to make transitioning to an instructional design role much easier down the road if you still want to go down that path. And my third and final tip is get referrals. I've had a couple interviews since entering the field of instructional design. I switched companies a year and a half in, and every single interview was because I knew someone at the company who gave the hiring manager or recruiter a nudge on my behalf. So ask around on social media, see if anyone in your real life network or personal community can vouch for you if a training position opens at their company. And that is a wrap. So I hope that was helpful, and I'm excited to stick around tonight and answer any questions y'all may have.
I think it was super helpful. I'm going to put one more thing in the chat since we have time before we go to breakout rooms. This last week, was it last? Oh, right. Labor Day happened. Last Wednesday. Tim Slade from the e-learning designers academy had a lunchtime webinar where he was sharing information about the state of the 2025 L&D field. He interviewed 600 or surveyed 600 people within instructional designers, L&D professionals, and then he put together this report and shared it out with his community. I went to the webinar. The recording is on YouTube, and I just put it in the chat right there if you want to watch it. He talked about salaries, mean salaries, demographics, starting with demographics of people that were surveyed, their average salaries depending on experience and industry, information about portfolios, if portfolios are useful. In short, they are, and only half of the job seekers have one. So that was really nice to know. And then also information about what hiring managers are prioritizing, and how learning and development teams design and deliver. He talked a little bit about ID generalists versus ID specialists. Like an ID generalist would be somebody who sees a project from beginning to end, from analysis and then, design, development, implementation, and evaluation, who kind of does the whole thing, and then other L&D teams that are kind of split up into different parts of the ADDIE model. So anyway, super interesting report. Highly recommend going through the interview or going through his recording about all the stuff that he found out from, 600 people is kind of a lot to include in a survey. So I think it was really good. Definitely worth looking at if you're looking for jobs. What else did I have to share with you? I think that was the big thing. Oh, no, I do have a couple more things. I, for the first time, am going to do an AI chatbot webinar. I've never offered a webinar before. I usually just do networking once a month, but I've gotten really excited about AI chatbots. So I am going to demo how to create an AI custom GPT chatbot in ChatGPT. And that is on September 13th. And the link to register for that is within tonight's agenda. You can just scroll down and register. It's from 1 to 2 p.m. on a Saturday. So I don't know if I'm going to really get into offering a ton of stuff on the weekend because I don't really have much free time, but I'm just real excited about this topic in particular. And it's something that I know how to do, and it's something that a lot of people want to learn. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's something I do a little more regularly. Um, probably at a good point to do some breakout rooms for a little bit longer. Um, yeah, let's do that. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I do have resources to share with you tonight. Some, like I mentioned before, we went to break. I've been really into chatbots lately. And something that I am trying out is an algebra chatbot. So I can show you, some of you may have seen this already in my LinkedIn, but I made this chatbot with the Ohio, you can see it, right? Um, with the Ohio Department of Education high school math standards. So, just so you can kind of see what it can do, I've made it have kind of short responses and really be something nudging to kind of guide through problem solving. And I haven't done algebra in a long time, and it made me feel pretty smart. So, if you can make it easy on me to get back into algebra, I feel like that's pretty motivating. If you want to know kind of what it covers, it's trained on standards for these classes, and then the topics inside kind of look like this. So putting it out there, just feel free to share this with people. I think I have put it in the GPT source. You can search for it and you can find it. I've also put a direct link in the agenda for tonight, including a feedback form. But that's primarily what I'm interested in is getting feedback on people's experience with it. So I told it that after it talks to someone for longer than 15 minutes, that it needs to say, "Hey, can you do this feedback form for me?" I tried it and it does it. It's so magical to me that it can do things like that. But anyway, please do feel free to share that if you think that you know someone who that can be helpful for. Um, and also join me for Making Chatbot September 13th. Our next idea networking session is going to be Tuesday, October 7th from 7 to 8 p.m. Happy to have you there. And one more thing, and then we will do whole group Q&A, I swear. Before we went to breakout rooms, I mentioned that there was Tim Slade had an L&D report about the state of learning and development. It's in his, I wonder if this is going to show up. Here we go. Um, it's in his e-learning academy community, but you can, just join that for free, and then you can download it. And it has it's very easy to read. You can just scroll through and get lots of good information just visually. Um, anyway, highly encouraged. It was very, very good. All right. Now I'm done and it is time for your questions. So what questions are out there that we can answer tonight? Did anyone go to the webinar on? I did, Kristen. I went to it. I would say that if you missed it, probably reading the report is enough because that was basically most of the webinar was kind of taking you through point by point and giving people a chance to ask questions.
I'm getting I'm getting sent to a conference. Like that's exciting.
It's always fun when someone pays for you to go, right?
I was not expecting it because it's the company I've been like a year or so, and they've been talking about budget, not budget cuts, but the travel cuts. So
Yeah.
out of the blue, I get a call to say schedule your airplane tickets. I honestly thought it was a scam.
You're like, wait, what?
I get a team message saying you gotta schedule your plane ride. Got to buy your plane tickets, and I honestly thought that was a like one of those phishing tick, like a trick test from the company. So I reported it, but it was a real one. So
They're like, why
anyway,
did you go do it? Mhm.
so yeah, I'm going there next week or the week of that you're doing the chatbot thing. Like, so I can't come to your webinar, but
Okay, have fun.
yeah.
Hope it's good.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't have a question, but if we have time,
We do have time.
I just wanted to share something I did. Oh, hello. Okay, yeah. So I'm currently waiting to hear back on a role. I know that they like checked my references, so I'm like really, really hoping that I'm like so close. Like I know I'm so close. But one thing one thing I did for this role that I think really helped me stand out was that and I know that not everyone has the time for this, but I guess like as you're developing portfolio pieces, keep things in mind. But so in the time between me finding out that I had uh like the interview, like my first interview, and like the so in between like them telling me that I was getting scheduled for an interview and like having the interview, I actually made like a whole piece that I put in my portfolio, like that was targeted at that company. So I like made I knew that the role was like like live facilitation on Zoom. So I made a portfolio piece on instruct like virtual instructor-led training, and I made it like targeted at the industry that the um like company was in. And that was like pretty insane. Like I can't believe I did that, but I don't have a job right now, so I I did. Um and like that also helped me for when they asked for like later in the process they asked me to do a presentation. Well, I just used the presentation that I already made for them. So, I guess as you're making portfolio pieces, make portfolio pieces that are like truly aimed at like the industries that you're interested in, and also maybe have like the variety of different kinds of roles you might want, like not just like e-learning, but like instructor-led training, virtual instructor-led training. Like having that variety, I think was really helpful for me.
Yeah.
I did that for my current role. I knew I wanted to work in software and I made a technical training sample. And like you, I really catered it for this particular company. I actually went on their website and I used the color picker and stole their branding. I looked up what fonts they
Hmm.
used. So the work sample I presented looked like it came from that company. So they
Mm.
could already imagine me like working for them. Here's what my work would look like on your behalf. Um, yeah, I stole their logo, their branding, everything for that work sample. And I got the job.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, like it's annoying because, it is a lot of extra work, but it was super like I think that really made the difference. And like same day, first interview, they were like, "We want you back for the next one." And I was like, "Yes." So
Mhm.
like definitely that like forward thinking mindset, I think can help set you apart.
We have to balance, right? Like, is this worth my time and energy? And some jobs I'm interviewing for, it was not worth it. But like this job, I knew it was going to be a significant pay increase. I knew it was a remote company that I really wanted. So for me, it was worth it. I would not do that every time.
We just did, we're in the process of hiring and kind of finalizing who we want for a certain job. And while I won't say anything specific about it, it has been really awesome to be on this side of hiring where we're looking at candidates. And I just love seeing portfolios because it really makes me feel like I understand this person more. To go from a page that is just facts about yourself to a portfolio where you might have someone, put out a 1 minute video saying, "Hi, I'm so and so, I do this," and it makes it immediately more personal. And I think it stays in the person's head when they're reviewing these candidates. So I think that it is really, really worth it. How many of you are going to go onto this algebra chat bot and see if you can learn some algebra again? It didn't make me feel dumb, which was great.
I am a social scientist.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah, so am I. I teach history. Okay, excuse me.
I don't want to go back and do that. You said algebra, so I'm staying far away. That's so funny. The really cool thing is uh you can use open stacks, OER materials that have open licenses, and you can use those as the knowledge base for some of these chatbots and then train them and gear them in a certain way. And the other thing that I just find mind blowing is these chatbots have multilingual support. So if you wanted to talk to this chatbot in Vietnamese, you can because it has the power of ChatGPT behind it. That is just incredible to me. All the languages that it can communicate this content in. I don't know. I can't get over it. I think it's amazing.
Thinking of another use case, if you can build an algebra tutor, why
Mhm.
not an instructional design career coach?
Yes, you
Like,
can.
yeah,
And that's actually something that I would recommend. Believe it or not, I did that. You
Mhm.
just type into ChatGPT, give me some sample instructional design interview questions. You have no idea how many times I actually practice with those.
Yeah. I've asked ChatGPT for advice on how to build something in Storyline, and it did. Gave me the steps. I had no idea where to start, and it did. It's pretty crazy. We have about 5, 6 minutes left. So if anyone is not sure whether they should get ChatGPT Plus, I'm not being paid to promote them, but it's like $20 a month. And it's if you use it every day, and I do, it's so valuable. ChatGPT is the best colleague I have ever had. It's so funny and true. You can ask it anything and it knows everything. Mm. Just don't ask it to marry you. It's like a real thing, people falling in love with their AI. Great time to have kids, by the way. Just stellar. It's a very exciting time. Well, if we don't have any more questions, how can you access the resource links? Yes, in the agenda, go to this agenda and scroll on down. There is a registration link. Oh, and I almost always forget this. Please give me feedback too on tonight's session. Feedback form for tonight. There's a feedback form. Let me know what you think, who you are, how you want to stay in touch. And yeah, the resources to the chatbot, the feedback form for my algebra chatbot, and also the Tim Slade's slides and the video about his slides is all in that agenda for tonight. And registration, you can get the registration link for October and for the chatbots webinar also within the agenda. And with that, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Mackenzie, for being here.
yeah, I hope folks add me on LinkedIn. We can connect, keep in touch. You all had awesome questions in the breakout room, so please do.
Yeah, likewise, please. I'm always available.
Yeah. And I hope to see you guys all September 13th for the chatbots. We'll link up on a Saturday and learn a little bit. Have a great night. And if I don't see you in a couple weeks, I'll see you in October. Have a great night, all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.